see if I can figure this out. All right, fire this over. Apologies about this delay, by the way. I'm going to send this over. Right. Always the way, isn't it? Right, I know you're watching me while I'm doing this. So this is a live Q&A on baby and child sleep, and I will be with you shortly. This is the first time I've done the live on YouTube, and I did a test early on today, and it did work. So I scheduled it, and it's decided that it wasn't going to work. Just always the way, isn't it? Just typical. So I'm just quickly firing this back to where I said it was going to go. I've shared it to everyone, and that link's not going to work, which is really clever, isn't it? So just bear with me, people. I promise I won't be long. Just while I get this where it's meant to be. Tweak that, and then this one there, and I think we're good to get cracking. So I hope everyone is well. Really good, isn't it, for a first attempt at a YouTube live? Let's see how we get on. I think we have somebody who's joined over. Feel free to say hi. Please ask your... Oh, hang on. There we go. Putting the typos. Your questions here. Perfect. Right, let's see how we get on. How is everybody? Oh, God. Tell you what, as if today hasn't been absolutely crazy enough that they decided to throw a technical problem at me at the end there. That's great fun, isn't it? I wonder if I can edit the live session and cut out the first 2 minutes. That would be really good, wouldn't it? So what I will do, for those of you that have never been on one of my live sessions before, I'll explain how I run them, what they're for, how you can get involved, and how I can help you. So every Monday night, I run live Q&As. Normally they're all over on Facebook. But what I'm wanting to do is try it on YouTube, so I can obviously set it to Twitter. I don't think Instagram's an option at the moment. I'm looking into that. Over onto Facebook, all at the same time, rather than it just being in one place, so I can help more people. That's always been my aim, to help as many people as I possibly can. So what we're going to do is we're going to try it on YouTube, see how we get on. I'm going to first, and if this works, if I can figure out how to actually do it properly next week, then obviously we'll do it on YouTube again next week, and we'll see how it goes. I've got next week's live is extra special. So as you will see when you look on the channel, when you look at all the videos, there's different topics of, all to do with sleep and things like that, and parenting. And I threw a question out to everybody in the Facebook page to say, right, what do you want to know? What do you want me to talk about? Is there anybody you want me to interview? And one of the things that came back was about reflux and sleep. So I've got the wonderful Charlotte from Milk Rebel coming on with me next week, and we're going to be talking all things reflux, colic, poos, baby poos, all things feeding, these types of things next week. So that's going to be really, really exciting. So fingers crossed I can actually get this to work. If not, we might need to pre-record it, or we'll just do it over on Facebook. I'll let you know what we're going to be doing. But ideally, I'd like to run these every Monday night on YouTube, so we can share it over to Facebook at the same time. So what we do is you guys ask me questions in the comments and I will answer. What I love is detail, because without detail, it's really hard for me to kind of give you a straightforward question. So for example, somebody sent me a message today. I'm just going to check this to actually go over to the Facebook page. Yes, it does say it's live now. Make sure it's actually on the Baby to Sleep page, which would be very, very helpful, wouldn't it, if it actually went where I wanted it to go. Saying that their 2-year-old was waking up in the night, sometimes for 2 hours. Any tips? Now, the problem with that question is it's just so generic. It's a question that comes up all the time. So to be able to actually give a specific answer on that is virtually impossible because I need to understand what's actually going on. So just to give you an idea, when we're talking about 2-year-olds, we're talking about what's the nap situation like? Are they even having a nap? Let me just delete that one from there because that's absolutely pointless because that's not going to go anywhere. So it's very much like I need to know, are they actually having a nap? What time do they go to bed? If they do nap, how long are they napping for? When they go to bed at bedtime, how long does it take to fall asleep? How do they fall asleep? When they wake up in the night, what happens? At 2 years old as well, what's the situation like behaviour wise? There's so many different things when it comes to sleep that it's never just a straightforward answer. And on that note, actually, within a few weeks' time, we've got a brand new online plan launching. So 2 years ago, we launched the Build Your Own Sleep Plans for babies between 6 and 24 months. At the time, the plan was to do a 2 to 6 year old one and a newborn one. But I was pregnant, so the pregnant belly was getting a bit too big, and then COVID hit when baby was born. So the chances of actually getting these new ones done was nearly impossible. So they didn't get done. So that's what we're doing at the moment. So we're recording them at the moment. I'm saying a few weeks. It might be an extra week because we might have a week where Alicia is not in nursery, waiting to find out at the moment. She's got hand, foot and mouth and conjunctivitis. Great fun, which means I'll probably get it all as well. But we'll see how we get on. But that's going to bring out the 2 to 6 year old option as well. And again, it's really important when we're talking about 2-year-olds and upwards, we're never just talking about sleep. It's never just about what happens in the night. It's all about what happens during the day. It's all about introducing boundaries. It's letting them know what's actually going to be happening during the day, helping them deal with emotions. And it's huge. It's such a massive topic. Feel free to go onto the website. If you look on babytosleep.co.uk, you'll see there's a waiting list at the moment ready for when that plan comes out. So you can hit that button there, join the waiting list. If you want to find out a bit more about things for a very short time only, if you go onto the events from March 11th on the Baby to Sleep Facebook page, you can actually watch the 90-minute session that was run then for just £5.99. But that won't be there for long now because that will be going obviously when we launch the brand new plan. So a bit of a background on me, because again, this is a new platform. You don't know me. So I'm Nicole and I'm a holistic sleep coach. And I've been doing this now for coming up 4 years. I got into it because my daughter, who's now 5.5, thought sleep was something that only other babies did. And I'm sure that if you're watching this, chances are you're in the same boat. So yeah, she thought sleep was something that only other babies did, and it basically destroyed us. It long-term affected our sleep. My husband's sleep's still not recovered from it. It's been hardcore. So yeah, we didn't sleep, and I basically got someone to help me get her to sleep because it was just, we'd hit the end of the road. There was nothing else left. We'd done all the things the health visitor had said. We'd seen the GPs. We'd done everything. We'd read every single article, all the different books, everything, and nothing seemed to work. All the advice from friends, and it was only by getting somebody in to sort of say, right, this is what you're going to do, that everything changed. So I thought, well, right, I need to do something about this. I want to help other people. So that's what I did. I started studying sleep, the science behind it, and it's just so interesting. I've become a bit of a sleep geek, to be honest. I was always one of those people that was jack of all trades, master of none, until I actually found my calling. And that is basically helping families with their little ones that are struggling with sleep, and basically helping salvage families from severe sleep deprivation. So it's such a massive, massive thing. So yes, we started off with a gentle sleep training course. I then went on to do the holistic sleep training course with Baby M, which is utterly incredible, so detailed, so in depth, gives us so much knowledge. And then I moved on and did the Incredible Years, which is a behaviour course for toddlers and preschoolers. So I've got a lot of knowledge. I've worked with a lot of families over the years, both in an online capacity and on a one-to-one basis as well. So I've got a lot of knowledge, and I've got my second little girl as well, who's 18 months now. So yes, I've definitely done things differently this time around than I did with my first, but having that knowledge, and I say this to everybody, knowledge is so powerful. If you understand what's going on, if you know what to look for, what to change, why to change it, what to expect, it's going to make things so different. So yeah, it's a funny one really, but knowledge is so powerful, and that's what the online videos are for. That's what the online plans are for. I'm not going to give you loads and loads of writing to go and read. I'm not going to start pushing you off to read this article and that article, because what I know is when you are a sleep deprived parent, you can't take it in. You could read the same page 10 times over and still have absolutely no idea what you've just read. But when someone talks to you about something and says, yeah, this is the other, and you feel like you're having a conversation, and it's simple and it's easy, it goes in. So I do it all in that way because I just think it's easy to understand, it's easy to take in when you're really tired, and you can watch the videos over and over again. So it's just, you just hit repeat, hit play, and you just keep flicking back as well. So it's absolutely really simple, really easy. So that's the online plans, and obviously there's one-to-one as well. But like I say, we've got the newborn plans due to come out, and the toddler and preschool plans due as well very soon. So it's really exciting. So I'm going to have something right the way through from birth to support parents on their journey, right through to 6 years old. So we've got a lot happening, which is absolutely brilliant. I just wish I could have figured out how to do this before, because I know that there's people sitting on the other one that don't know that that this is actually live, which is really annoying. Let's see, does it Yep. So actually, do you know what? Let me see if I can get the link from this, and I can add that link onto the one that's not there. That would probably help, wouldn't it? Copy that link, and then we'll pop the link, pop the chat here. Where's the chat? Here we go. So hopefully anybody clicking on the old one will see the chat and come over here. That's what we want. I need questions. I want to be able to help people. I want to be able to answer your questions. So feel free to pop on. How is everybody? So let's have a think. What can I talk about, please? So let me just explain a little bit about the YouTube channel then, because every single week I want to introduce a brand new video to you all. I want to talk about different things that are going to help you on your journey with your little one's sleep. So whether that's behavior-wise, whether that's talking about naps, whether that's talking about sleep and weaning. Again, that's one of the big topics that tends to come up so much, is people getting told to wean early because it's going to get their baby to sleep, and it really is not the case at all. So yeah, that's a huge one that I actually want to talk about. But we did talk about feeding and sleeping. Again, another one people get told about all the time is give your baby formula, that'll get them sleeping. And the amount of families that I've spoken to, the amount of mums that I've spoken to that are just sitting there regretting giving up breastfeeding because they were told that formula is the magic cure. And it turns out it really wasn't. So there's a video on that you can watch as well. If you want to actually understand what my view of sleep training is, there's a video on that as well, which, by the way, it's not about leaving your baby to cry alone. It's about supporting them and helping them on that journey to get to better sleep. What else is on there? We've got teething. Oh my goodness me, teething is such a huge one. The amount of I was exactly the same. I thought Sophia was teething from the day she was born, pretty much, because she never slept. But I just didn't know any better. So teething, there's a video on that there that's going to help you understand whether the sleep issues are down to teething, or whether it's something else, or whether there's just something else with the sleep that you need to change. The big one that I did recently is the naps and the nap transitions, right through from birth, right through to 3.5 years old. So that's always worth a watch as well if you're not too sure where naps should be sitting. So have a nosy. Go onto the Facebook page, so onto the YouTube channel, and subscribe and have a look at all the different videos, and let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about. That's a big thing for me, to make sure I'm covering all the different topics that you guys want. Let's see if this is actually doing anything. Let's see. I think Sarah was trying to get onto the live stream. Let me see if I can send it to her. Actually, it's there. Yeah, don't you just love it? Technology, honestly. Right, let's see if that works. Let's see. Oh, and you've got a little bit of Facebook there. Actually, let me edit that post because that link is no longer working, as we've realised. Because I've had to set up a different link. Oh dear. I don't know if that's you that's just come on, Sarah. We had a technical issue. Dear. Right, if you've got questions, please just post them for me. Otherwise, we're not going anywhere. It was me. So you're still there. Brilliant. Right. Ask me some questions, people. Hey dear. This is bizarre. Right, let's see. This is just not, I've got to figure it out. I think it must be something to do with the webcam thing. Because I think you have to do an actual stream, which obviously I didn't know, because I did a whole test earlier on today. I did a live test, and I thought, yay, I've cracked it. No, I haven't cracked it at all. So Sarah, you were talking about your 2-year-old waking up in the night, sometimes for 2 hours. I was just saying before, earlier on, that when you give me that sort of information, it's so generic. It's such a common question, because at the end of the day, yeah, 2-year-olds, regardless of whether sleep has been utterly amazing for the first 2 years, it's very, very common for it to just suddenly fall apart when they turn 2. You get a lot of nap refusals, you get a lot of bedtime stalling. There's a lot of different things that happen when babies turn about 2, and a lot of it's to do with them, and their brain is changing. So basically, they learn that they've got free will. They have some kind of control, they have some kind of power over you, and they have influence, basically. And they can say another story, and you say, okay then, and they go, oh, okay, so I asked for another story and I got one. What else can I say? I need another wee. Okay then, take for another wee. Might not have really needed a wee, but actually I've just figured out that I can say these things and you will respond to me in some way. And they've gone, right, what else can I do? So I'll say no to a nap. No, I'm not having a nap. And suddenly you're in this situation where they're saying, well, hang on a minute, you've been letting me off all these other things. What's going on here? You've let me have another story when I asked for it. You've let me do this. Why won't you let me do this? And actually, things can start to change the balance, and they can start to feel a little bit frustrated because they didn't actually have any control. They thought they had a bit of control in the fact that they could tell you what they wanted you to do. They were getting something from saying that they wanted something. And then suddenly it shifted the other way. And then you're saying no to them. So their control is then gone. And that can actually be quite overwhelming as well. So what we've got to do is make sure that our children understand where these boundaries are, because they know then that if they say, can I have another story? And you say no, and you consistently say, no, we've had our 2 stories, this is what we have. We always agree 2 stories, we pick the stories before, and you're consistent with that, they then know that actually no really does mean no. But as soon as you start kind of pushing that a bit and saying, oh, it's only a story, go on then, what else can they get? And as soon as you start opening that up for them, the world becomes huge. So actually that can be a little bit overwhelming for them. So we need to obviously have these boundaries there so they know that they're safe. But again, it's still giving them some free will as well, giving them lots of choices. There's a lot of information that you'll get from that, from the toddler packages that I'm about to bring out, or even just watching the video that's on the event on March the 11th. You'll just get so much information. It's the world of a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old. Their brain is absolutely incredible. And I don't think half the time we give it the credit that it actually deserves. And we might still think they're really, really little and they don't really understand very much. So actually, yeah, we might go the other way and we don't let them have any say at all because we say, well, you're only 2. I remember my dad saying to me about Sophia, why are you letting her pick her clothes? You know, she's only 2, you choose. I was like, well, no, it's good for her to pick things. But then you've got the other side where sometimes we see them as older than they are as well, and we might try and give them too much responsibility. Right? You might ask a big open question. You might say, what do you want to do today? Well, can you imagine being 2 years old and going, what do you want to do today? Oh, I want to go to a sweet factory. We can't do that. Well, hang on a minute. You just said to me, what do you want to do today? And I've just said, I want to go to a sweet factory that's in a cloud somewhere. And then suddenly that's not happening. So it's making sure that actually everything is understood for them. They know what they're asking for. So you're giving them some kind of free will. So do you want to go to the park or do you want to go to the library? Simple choices that are very, very easy, but they get a choice. We're wanting to actually open the world up to them, but actually keep them safe at the same time. Is this making sense, Sarah? I hope so. Obviously, I don't know what your situation is specifically with regards to sleep, other than they're up for 2 hours in the night, but there'll be a lot of things that are going in from the days that will possibly be affecting into the nights. So this is just to give you a bit of an idea with things like your bedtime stalling and everything else. With regards to why night wakings happen, it can be multiple reasons. So what I normally tend to find is when little ones turn 2, you get a lot of nap refusals. And they tend to cope quite well, some do, on no nap. And what tends to happen is they continue to sleep through the night. And then maybe a few months later, what you've started to find is you might have started to find a bit of early rising creeping in. And then what you might find is you might end up with a night waking or 2. And they're still not having a nap because you think they're okay without having a nap. And before you know it, you're on multiple night wakings, you've got your bedtime fights, you've got your early rising, you've got a really tired, cranky toddler, and you don't know where to go with things. That's something that happens very, regularly. I've worked with so many 2-year-olds, you would not believe it. And that's one of the reasons I'm so excited about bringing out the 2 to 6-year-old plan, because I just know how many families it's going to help. Because they tended to be the majority of families that I was working with within the last year or so, before we went into before we went into first lockdown, really, and I had Alicia. So that was actually the main bulk of what I did. So yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to when this actually comes out. But yeah, so there's so many reasons, and a lot of the time it can just be that overtiredness. So many people say to me as well, it can go the other way, where they go to sleep absolutely beautifully at bedtime. They go to bed and they get into bed and they just fall asleep, and that's it. And then suddenly they're up all night. Well, that's also another big red flag. So overtiredness can go in 2 directions. You can go with a fight at bedtime. So they're just literally, they're up for ages and they're battling with you and they can't get to sleep. And it can go the other way, where they absolutely just crash and burn and they're absolutely exhausted that they just literally crash out at bedtime. And the problem you've got there is their brain isn't going through the processes of going from being awake to going to be asleep, which is what you want it to do. You want them to go from being awake to bing, 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 bing. Yep, thinking about the day, working my way through it all. Yes, now I'm nice asleep. That's where you want it to be. So we're talking 15 to 20 minutes, which might sound like a long time, especially if you're in a situation where you're stuck in the room with them. 15 to 20 minutes might sound like a really long time, but 15 to 20 minutes is the optimum amount of time you want it to take for your little one to go from being awake to being asleep. So if you're looking at it taking much longer than that, or it's 5 minutes, even up to 10 minutes, but definitely 5 minutes or under, you've potentially got some massive overtiredness in there. It doesn't necessarily have to just come from the overtiredness from not enough sleep either. It can also come from where the sleep is sitting during the day. So again, I'll have people that have got multiple night wake-ins. Baby might be up, or the toddler, should I say, might be up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and their nap is sitting at sort of 12:30 till 2:30, and then they're putting them down at, say, 7 o'clock at night. And the problem you've got there is if your little one's been awake since, say, 5 o'clock and they don't go down for their first nap, well, their nap's only till 12:30, they're awake for 7.5 hours. And they might have a 2-hour nap and it sounds all beautiful. They've had that wonderful 2-hour nap at 2 years old. But then if they're up at 2:30 and you're only giving them a 4.5-hour window from waking up and going to bed, you're also in that situation where actually they're potentially, yes, they could be overtired because they're ongoingly overtired because they've got a sleep debt, they're up in the night, they're early rising, they're awake for really, really long periods of the day between waking and going to bed. But then you've got the other side of things where there's potentially not enough sleep pressure that's been built up between waking up from the nap and going to bed. It gets very confusing, I know. I hope you're following me, Sarah. Because at the end of it, it's such, honestly, it's so complex. Baby and child sleep, it's not logical. It's everything about it is completely backwards, and it's hard work. You're very lucky if you get one that just kind of goes with the flow, because actually we have humans, we don't have robots. That's what we give birth to. We have humans, and they have emotions, and they have to learn. And every single one of us has to go through that stage of learning and being told no, and having to sort of, and pushing boundaries and wanting to know where they actually are sitting at, and testing things and learning and developing and dealing with emotions. There's so many different things there as well. In fact, in following it's so helpful. Just no idea how to comment on anything on YouTube. Can you see a chat button? So if I put, I've just wrote chat here. Can you see that pop up? I say, well, it's one of them technical things, isn't it? Like I say, this is my first time on YouTube as well doing a live, so it's a bit interesting. Yes, I was just saying then, Sarah, it's the first time I've done a live on YouTube anyway, so we all got hit technically tonight. It's great fun, isn't it? But yes, I don't know if you can see a chat box or something. I can see a chat thing at the side, and you can sort of type things in it. I don't know if it's going up on yours or not. No idea. Oh, hang on. If you're watching it on a mobile, I think it's different. So I think it might be under the description. I'm just trying to think when I've watched the body coach with my sister and my daughter when they were doing the homeschool and we were trying to get to do exercises in the morning. I think it's underneath because I was having to cast it from my phone onto the telly. So it could be that. So what else can I tell you about 2-year-olds? Let's have a think. So many things. Oh, why the wake-ins are going on as well. So the wake-ins could be going on because actually the other thing I'll tell you as well, you found it. Woohoo! Yay! Fantastic. So the other thing that tends to happen with brilliant, I'm chuffed a bit. You're the only person here, so I'm chatting to you on a one-to-one at the moment. So let's just see how this goes. I don't think anybody else knows this here. Facebook's decided it's not actually showing it to anybody. I'm not actually sure why. You've got to love a bit of, yeah. Oh dear. Oh yes, it's changed it on there. So let's just see if anything. pops up. Oh, I've got absolutely no idea. I hate technology. I really do. Ask me about sleep and I'm fine. Technology just goes over my head. It bothers me. So what was the other thing I was going to say then about your night wakings? Right. The other things to consider is what's going on in the last 2 hours before bedtime. These are really important factors. And I say you can tell me which bits are sort of triggering, if you think any of these reasons might be the reasons why your little one's waking up. But what we're wanting to do in the last 2 hours before bed, and this is one of the videos that's on the YouTube channel. So if you flick through the channel and see all the different videos, you'll see one about pre-bedtime routines. And this is a really, really important one, because at the end of the day, think about it like this. Your child has been away, they might have been at nursery or something like that, and they've been busy all day, they've come home, and you sit them at the table and they have something to eat, and then you take them into the living room and go, right, it's time to wind down now because we're going to go to sleep, we're going to wind down. You've been sitting at the chair, not moving. Now I'm going to ask you to wind down, and then we're going to take you to bed. Or it could be the other way, where you take them out, something to eat, then you might take them out on the bike or something like that, or you take them out for a run around or a kick around in the garden, and then you're going to expect them to go to bed. And actually, neither of these environments, or scenarios, should I say, are conducive for sleep. As what we really want to be doing in this sort of situation is we need them to actually let some steam off, but we also need to make sure the environment is conducive for sleep. So, for example, melatonin only produces 1 to 2 hours before bedtime, but it's triggered by dim light. So if you think about it like this, obviously we've had summer. If you take your kids out to play before bed, and you've got all your natural light out there, and you come in, are they going to be able to actually go to bed? Probably not, because all the signals that have been going to the brain are saying it's wakeful time, it's playtime. Nothing has triggered that hormone of melatonin to help aid sleep. It doesn't make them go to sleep. It just aids the hormone that aids sleep. So we need to make sure that actually we're in a situation where they are in a room that is dimmer, and we're getting rid of some of that natural light to aid sleep and 1 to 2 hours before bedtime. And that doesn't mean you dim the lights and that's it, we're on wind down. What it actually means is we need to get rid of some of that energy, because what you'll find is your little one is probably buzzing by this point. And what we're wanting to do is actually get rid of some of that energy, because the problem is cortisol, which is the stressful hormone, it's the wakeful hormone, it's the hormone that inhibits melatonin production, it's the hormone when you've got a very overtired child. That's what's running around. And the only way to get rid of that is through movement, laughter, crying, whatever, but movement's your big one. So actually we want to get rid of that, and a great way you can do that is big body play, tickling, chasing around the room, whatever it might be, anything where we're actually having fun with our children. Because the other thing that we're doing at this point as well is we're not just helping burst or get rid of any last bits of energy, having an energy rush. We're not doing that. We're actually connecting with our child as well. And what we're saying is let's have some fun together. And if there's been any work stresses, or if you've peed me off through the day, or for whatever reason it might be, because I've actually been in a bad mood and I really wasn't a fan when you broke my favourite cup earlier on today, and I'm a bit, actually what we're doing is we're drawing a line under all of it, and we're having connection time, and we're having fun together. And what you will feel is when you genuinely laugh, you'll feel better. And you just can't help it. You will naturally feel better when you laugh. And that's a really big thing. So you laugh together, you connect together, you have fun together. The important thing is now, though, is we start to tail it down. We start to wind things down a bit, but we're not saying we go from this to, having lots of fun to let's just sit down and have a story. But we're almost certainly not going to go from let's running around having lots of fun to come on, let's go to bed. Neither of them situations are probably going to work. So we need to kind of have a middle ground. So this can be the thing where we actually tailor it and we go, right, we'll move on to some mental stimulation now. So we'll go on to tiring the brain. So we might do a jigsaw, we might do some colouring in, whatever it might be, anything, building blocks with the younger ones, a bit of academic coaching. It's all talked about in the video. And then from there, you'd move into maybe a story and some cuddles, maybe milk before bed, whatever it is. And you'd stage it. So that way, by the time they're ready to go to bed, The environment downstairs has been good. They've not felt they've had to be sat there for ages since they got home from nursery and having to sit still and wind down and constantly getting told off because they're actually wanting to run around. We're giving them that opportunity to be able to do that, and we're doing it with them. And they love it. They absolutely love it. And we're moving it to the level where actually we're saying, right, okay, well, what we're going to do is we'll do this every night. It doesn't have to be long, but it's just putting these bits in and shortening it if you need to. When you get everything embedded, it's really easy to throw things around and tweak it a little bit. But we want to go from that point. What we also then don't want to do is go from there to upstairs and get the bath run. Because what's going to happen then, if it takes 5 minutes to run the bath, what's going to happen? Your 2-year-old's going to be running from this room to that room to the other room, and they're going to be pulling this out, and they'll be pulling all the pajamas out, they'll be pulling all the books out. So the other thing you want to do is make sure everything is prepared upstairs. So your drink of water's on the side. If they have a drink of water at bedtime, they've got the, your pajamas are out, the stories are out, the bath's already pre-ran. So everything is done. So then you go straight up and straight into the bathroom. So everything again is simplistic, it's easy, and they know what's coming. So you go from the bathroom to the bedroom. If they're potty trained and they're doing wees and things like that in the potty, do a last wee before you actually get into bed. All these little things. Think about all the areas for negotiation that little ones give you. Last wee, I need a drink, I'm too hot, I'm too cold. Think about everything that they're going to throw at you. Cover it off. So then you can say, you've had your last kiss, you've had your last cuddle, we've had your last wee. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to tuck you up in bed and just, whatever it might be, and I'm going to say night. And then whatever it is that you've decided you're going to do from this point onwards, whether that's you're going to go, whether you're going to sit on the floor, whether you're sitting on the end of the bed, whatever it is. But then you've laid out your stall. And everything's much easier at that point as well. Is this still making sense? Is it feeling like you're getting anything from this, Sarah, that might actually help understand what's going on with your 2-year-old at the moment that's waking in the night? Because again, the other thing is as well, it can also be down to too early to bed. It's great, brilliant. There's just so much. What you can do, if you're really, really struggling, Sarah, you don't have to just... So obviously, I know that the toddler plan's coming out in a few weeks' time. Obviously, like I say, the problem with that is it's not now, and you're probably in a situation where you want something now. What you can do is you can do the 12 to 24 month online plan. If you're really struggling and you want some help, you can do the 12 to 24 month online plan, maybe add a month support on or something like that in the Facebook group so I can actually help you. Do the session that's £5.99 that's on the March the 11th on the event on Facebook. Have a look at that and combine it. So you'll have about 3 hours of information to watch before you start making any changes. But you could do all of that and I can still help you on that journey, and you'll get all the information that you need from those two plans pretty much, and then from my guidance within the actual support group as well. If you need to add more months on, you can do that. And what I'll do as well is come that point, because you'll have just done what I've just said, is when the toddler one does come out, I'll just gift that to you anyway. Because obviously at the end of the day, it's just the fact it's not there. If it was there now, that's what you'd probably get. But yeah, so that's a possibility. I think that's probably a really good option if you're really, really struggling. And just let me help you on that journey. Brilliant. Yeah, so I think that's a good way to do it. There's a link in the description on here to the online sleep plans. But like I say, I can really, really help. It's so complex. It really is. Oh gosh, sleep. Even now, though, the thing is with it, it doesn't matter how much you understand it. When you're living it and when you're tired, it's really hard. So if you can literally just have your brain filled with loads of knowledge, you can, at the very least, at those times when you feel like punching the wall because you just don't know what to do anymore, if you can start saying, right, okay, actually, do you know what? It's 5 o'clock in the morning. They've done X amount of sleep. They've done this. Actually, I can see that this happened with the nap yesterday. this makes sense that they would be up at 5 o'clock. I'm not going to expect them to go back to sleep. And as soon as you can say that to yourself, your mentality starts to change, rather than it being, why won't you just go back to sleep? This is so frustrating. I really, really want to go back to sleep. I'm really, really annoyed. Come on, you can do it. Just do it. And if you can shift your mentality a little bit and just go, I get it. I can't expect this to happen because biologically this is extremely difficult. And I've got to accept that I'm not going to go to bed again now, because even if I did, I'd probably be up 20 minutes later anyway. If I accept that I'm going to be awake right this minute, because this is actually what's really going on, and I'll just go to bed early tonight, your mentality changes and you feel different. You feel like you can cope better. That sounds like you. Yeah, but it's me as well. I get it. I remember it. They don't go away. Those moments just don't go away. And you know what? Even when you've got all the knowledge in the world, there'll still be things that throw you. There'll still be things that flummox you. My little girl last night, bless her, 18 months, she woke up and I have I think I know now what was bothering her, but right then and there, this time, I had absolutely no idea. She was beside herself. I could not calm her down. Feed, she wouldn't feed. She didn't want me to hold her. She literally didn't want me to do anything. I managed to get some baby Vicks on her, where she seemed to settle a little bit. Eventually I managed to get some Nurofen down her, and she did eventually sort of settle back off and go to sleep, which was brilliant. But actually it turns out she's got hand, foot and mouth, and she's got conjunctivitis. So no wonder she was up. But at that point, all I kept thinking is, I've got my 5-year-old who's up for school in the morning. I really don't want to wake her. Oh my God, you've got to calm down. You've got to quieten down. I don't know how I can help you right now. And I just kept thinking, just hold her, think about it. What can I do logically? And all I could think was, right, okay, she sounds like she might be a bit snotty. Maybe this will help the breathing. Maybe while you're doing that, where it's just a bit of a rubbing up sensation. Maybe there's something wrong, so I'll go down the Nurofen route. Anything. And obviously it did work, because obviously she ended up out of pain and she did go back to sleep for another 3 hours, which is great. But it was just... it's heartbreaking, and it doesn't matter how much you know about sleep. You will always have these moments where you are absolutely thrown. Normally, though, it comes back later, and you'll go, like you did today. She's not well. That's it. That explains it. She's got 4 ulcers on the roof of her mouth, and she's basically covered in spots and stuff like that. That explains why she's done what she's done. And again, you can be more tolerant. And this is the thing, tolerance is going to help us get through these tough times. And I've got to be honest, they don't last forever. They don't. They might if you don't do anything about it. If you just kind of keep going on about it and you keep butting heads with each other and things like that, and nobody ever actually kind of gets to the next stage, then maybe it might. Saying that, there's not many teenagers, I don't think, that don't love a lie-in. What I will say, though, one thing I'm very much looking forward to is when Sophia is a teenager and she's wanting a lie-in. I'm very much looking forward to going around with the Hoover outside her room in the morning. Morning! Time to get up! Like my mother used to do to me. And she'll be going, I want to go back to sleep. And I'll be going, you're right. I'll be at payback. So honestly, she destroyed us. Absolutely. She just, even now, she's still really hard work. And this is one of the reasons I actually end up knowing as much as I know, because I constantly have to keep learning. I'm constantly studying and doing new things, because at the end of the day, I need to make sure my eldest is sleeping well, because I can't cope without sleep and my husband can't cope without sleep. So it's like we've got to keep on top of her. So I'm just constantly learning about stuff. It's utterly incredible. Everything about baby sleep is just, and child sleep. When you watch the stuff, a lot of people say to me when they start watching the videos, they just go, "Oh my God, it's like you're talking about my child." And it's like, I know, because you're not on your own. You're absolutely not on your own. If you're struggling with sleep, the chances are you're going through what 1 in 4 other families are going through. 25% at least are going through some kind of situation with regards to their little one's sleep. You are absolutely not alone. And the other thing is, chances are, even if they're doing really, really well, at some point they're going to fall off the wagon, and that's entirely normal as well. Because again, as I said before, we gave birth to humans, not robots. So, and that's the bit we've really got to remember. These are human beings, they're not robots. And we've got to accept that actually they're with us forever, and whatever challenges they throw at us, we're going to keep on learning, and we're going to keep on helping them, and we're going to keep on supporting them because they're our kids. And they're going to keep on pushing us, and they're going to keep on testing us, because at the end of the day, we are their safe place. We are their unconditional love. We are their place where they can just literally lift the lid off and let it all out, because we will love them no matter what. So they might go to nursery and be absolute beauties and do as they're told, and they might come home and be absolute terrors, but that's because it's safe for them to do that at home, and they feel like they can. So don't ever think that just because your little one comes home and they're suddenly this awful child, they're not. Actually, it probably means that they're really, really connected with you. So there's a lot of it is really interesting. I really love it. And anybody that tends to come on a journey with me tends to sort of find it extremely interesting as well, and wants to kind of go down that route as well. So, right, I think I'm going to leave it there because it's 9 o'clock and I've only got you, Sarah. So, this is my first attempt at a YouTube live. Maybe next week I'll stick to Facebook, and then I'll try YouTube again the week after. We'll see how we get on. Definitely excited to get going. When does the toddler plan come out? Right, well, I've started recording it. It's going to be, we're saying a few weeks. I think we might end up having to push a week back. We'll have to see, because if I can't send Alicia into nursery this week, I can't do any filming this week. So we're going to have to see how things go. But we're hoping, the plan is to try and basically get as much recorded this week as possible. I've also got the newborn one. So where are we now? Oh, I don't know. I can't give an actual date. It's because it's not actually recorded. Hence why I'm saying to you, if you do the 12 to 24 month plan, bolt on a month support, and do the toddler and preschool behaviour sleep workshop, which is just £5.99, that one, you'll get so much of that information, and I'll just gift it to you when it actually does come out. That way you're not on your own with it now. You've got, you'll have the information. It's just going to be in 2 different sort of formats, 2 different places. And you'll just need to use me in the group to help tweak, fill in any other bits and stuff like that. And when it does come out, we'll make sure we get it over to you. And if anybody is in that position, actually, let me know, because I'm happy to do that. Between now and then, if you do want to, if you want the help, I will happily, if you actually do purchase the 12 to 24 months now with a 2-year-old, and you do the preschool workshop, I'll just gift the toddler one to you when it actually does come out. So don't worry about that. That's absolutely fine. My mission is to help as many families as I possibly can. So yeah, that's, I'm not about making loads of money. That's not me. I do what I do because I absolutely love it. So, but yeah, right. I'm going to leave it there. It's been nice chatting to you, Sarah. And like I said, we'll try it again probably in a couple of weeks. I think I'll stick to Facebook next week, and we'll try again in a couple of weeks on here. I'll see how that goes. Brilliant. I'll see you later. Bye.